They did a history package on Zachary Wentz and Wes Lee, and they used to be partners, and there's been ill feelings and bad blood, etc. And now they're going to have a street fight. And I remember, if I'm not mistaken, these two were when we started watching the Nickelodeon version of NXT. These two were the tag team that I said, what the fuck? They were just, one guy would do a standing backflip and the other guy would shove him down on top of the other guy. Just clumsy ass tag team shit, prison tattoos and bad hair. And apparently they're still there 3 or 4 years later.
Well, no, the one guy was fired. He's now working for TNA, but because TNA works with WWE now, he's able to, do stuff like this.
They fired him, but he came back?
He's the one. Do you remember they signed them and they were giving him a push and we checked him out and we really didn't like it. It was worse than AEW from what we saw. And then turned out he was married to some wrestler because they all just fucking marry each other at this point. And it never turns out well. He was married to a wrestler and they had some kind of breakup. She alleged there was abuse. He said there wasn't. And then she put up a picture of him with a Hitler mustache.
He's the Hitler guy.
Doing a Hitler salute. WWE fired him. And then I guess as time has gone on, maybe he's recognized how ignorant and wrong that was. And he's been wrestling for TNA. And that led to the natural, let's get him to work for us without working for us situation.
Christ. Well, Zachary Wentz and Wes Lee had a street fight.
The babyface was the Nazi in this match.
Well, I couldn't tell, actually, which was which here, but, well, he's a reformed Nazi.
That's right. We don't know what's going on.
So Zachary was introduced at 185 pounds. Wes Lee was introduced at 178 pounds. If they introduce them at that, doesn't it mean 165 and 158?
They're not going to shave the weight, that's for sure.
Well, what the fuck? You can't tell me that you're introducing somebody that legitimately weighs 178 pounds, has 178 pounds on a pro wrestling program, and expect people to, what the fuck are these children? And again, these two and everybody in their history video look like juvenile delinquents with prison tattoos and bad haircuts. And they're wheeling a shopping cart full of shit to the ring for their street fight. And 40 minutes into this program, the first two men that we've seen wrestle are having a garbage match, and I was bigger than both of them when I was 16 years old. So just real quickly, at one point in the ring, they had 6 chairs. They set a giant plywood sheet up on 4 chairs on the floor, and then both of them got on the apron and jumped off together so they could break it. And then they used the garbage cans and the kendo sticks and the hoopla. And then they had a table set up on the floor, and I don't know which, the black guy pushed the white guy off the top rope, and he flipped to land on the table 10 feet away, but he overshot it and just landed on the fucking floor. And the table's not even knocked over.
Yeah, that was bad.
And bad for him.
Bad for him.
And all right, whichever one was which.
Wes Lee was the one with the dreadlocks who works for NXT.
Which one got up on the ropes and wrapped the logging chain around his knees?
I think that would have been Wes Lee.
Well, he jumped off and double knee dropped the other guy who was sitting, waiting for it in a folding chair, conveniently enough, and then pinned him 1, 2, 3. And my comment was somebody should call Juvenile Hall.
How does this compare to an AEW match of the similar? I mean, we've seen matches like this on AEW where it's just weapons up the gazoo for no reason. How does this compare?
This was better because it was shorter. It didn't take as much time.
How long did it go?
It didn't go as long as those AEW fucking fiascos go with and nobody shoved a hypodermic needle in anybody's face. Otherwise, it was, what's the difference?